Tanya is a 5th grade student having oral reading problems. Her issues are noticeable with sight words and pronouncing difficult names, although she is capable of reading difficult words such as specimens and slaughtered. She has an issue with insertions and omissions in a passage while she's reading. Another concerning issue is her comprehension skills. She has a hard time understanding what she is reading. This is because of her miscues on content words. The 2 assessments I'll be using to evaluate Tanya is running records and retellings. A running record is a way for me to assess Tanya's reading progress by evaluating her oral reading fluency and comprehension skills. I will be able to identify error patterns that happen consistently through this assessment. I'll be able to tell if there are certain words that she struggles with pronouncing or understanding. If she is omitting and inserting words, that is telling me she is not paying attention to what she is reading, which is causing her to struggle with comprehension. If she is self-correcting, that tells me she is able to understand what she is reading, which is a step closer to bettering her comprehension. These ongoing assessments will help me judge her strengths and weaknesses so I can plan lessons specifically for them. A retelling will help the student recall what is happening in the story, develop a sense of story structure, and become more accurate in monitoring their understanding. They can transfer this knowledge of the story structure to their own story writing or activities like the ones I'll be showing you. This will also tell me how much Tanya is comprehending from her reading. I'll be more aware of what parts of a story are easier for her to remember and what parts are harder. This will help me further her instruction to keep her improving and getting better on her reading skills that she really struggles with, which is comprehension. We will be doing 2 activities to mainly work on your comprehension skills, but also practice your reading fluency. Here is a passage that I would like you to read out loud to me. Read it to the best of your ability. Reading it out loud will help you practice your oral fluency. And this is a reading about wind power.
There are many reasons to use alternative energy sources. One reason is to reduce pollutants and greenhouse gases. Alternative or renewable energy sources help to reduce the amount of toxins that are a result of traditional energy use. These traditional energy sources help protect against harmful byproducts of energy use and help to preserve many of the natural resources that we currently use as energy sources. There are many alternative energy sources, but today we are going to talk about wind power. Wind power is the ability to capture the wind in a way to propel the blades of wind turbines. When the blades rotate, this movement is switched into electrical current with the help of an electrical generator. In older windmills, wind energy turned mechanical machinery to do the physical work like crushing grain to make bread or pumping water to get water. Wind towers are built on wind farms, and usually there are several towers built together. In 2005, the worldwide use of wind power generators was less than 1% of all the electricity used combined. There are several advantages of this energy source. There is no pollution, it never runs out, farming and grazing can still take place on the same land as the wind turbines, and wind farms can be built anywhere. One disadvantage is that you need a consistent wind to get enough power. If the wind speed decreases, less electricity is produced. Large wind farms can also have a negative visual effect for people who live nearby.
Now that you're done reading, I would like you to stop and think for a second about everything you just read. This will help you remember and get a better understanding of the text. You will now be given a few statements that could be from the text or not from the text. You will sort these statements using your knowledge you have gained from reading the text. You will sort them into either in the text column right here or not the text column. And you're going to sort them to the best of your ability. Now that you are done sorting, we'll look at the statements and check our understanding. It looks like there might have been a few you missed. I'll take these two out, and I want you to go back into the text and find the line that shows that these statements were in the text.
The second one's not in the text.
Okay, good job. You see that this one should be not in the text, and that one should. Going back into the text and highlighting helps you check for a better understanding. When you're at home or in class, I want you to work on this. Stop and ask yourself if you understood what you read. If you think you might have missed something in the text, go back and reread it. I've noticed you can pronounce bigger words, but you are struggling with the meaning of them. We're going to work on a better understanding of the text by getting better at understanding those big words. This is important because it will help you build your comprehension skills. Here is a reading about earthquakes. I want you to read this out loud to me so you can work on your oral fluency. There will be certain words underlined, and I want you to focus on those words because they are important for our next activity. Read it to the best of your ability.
Earthquakes are the sudden shock of the Earth's surface that result in the Earth shaking and rolling. They can be felt over large geographical areas for brief moments of time. This is a natural way for the Earth to release stress. Did you know that more than 1 million earthquakes shock the world each year? Let's look at what causes the unpredictable phenomenon. There are nearly 20 tectonic plates that are along the Earth's surface that continuously move past each other. When these plates stretch or squeeze, huge rocks form at their edges and the rocks shift, causing an earthquake. You can visualize an earthquake by holding a pencil horizontally in the air and applying force to both ends by pushing down on them. Eventually, the pencil will break somewhere between the two pencil ends to release the stress placed on it. This is actually how the Earth's crust reacts to produce an earthquake. The plates move and put forces on each other so the Earth's crust breaks for this stress to be released in the form of energy. This energy moves at a terrifying rate through the Earth as an earthquake. A seismograph is an instrument to record the strength of the earthquake. It also measures how long the earthquake occurs. Other significant terms to know concerning the topic of earthquakes include the epicenter, which is the point on the Earth's surface above the source of the earthquake. Seismic waves, which is the energy created by the quake that causes building structures in the Earth to move horizontally, and the Richter scale, a measurement of earthquake's intensity.
Now that you're done, you'll be using an interactive whiteboard to complete an activity. There are pictures on the side that I want you to place over the correct label. You're going to be using the context clues you read in the passage to figure out which picture matches to the label. Once you place a picture over that label, I want you to highlight the context clues that showed why you put that picture there. When you go back into the text, you are checking for an understanding and proving you understood what you read. Outside of this, in class or at home while you're reading, I want you to go back and practice finding the context clues to help you understand those big words that might be confusing.